back for our third and final segment. Jonah, we were going to go over the MLB races. So, who do you think who's gonna do it in the American League and National League, divisional winners and wild cards?
All right. Well, starting with AL East, I'm gonna say it's a dogfight, but I'm gonna say Boston.
Boston.
It's
They're
kind
both
of,
going.
It's kind of a flip of a coin.
They're both going. Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with either. AL West, Houston, obviously.
You don't think they'll hold off Seattle?
I don't think Seattle will be that hot for this long.
And I can't even believe they're doing this without Cano. Seager's having a bad year.
Yeah.
And Felix is awful.
And AL Central, obviously Cleveland.
That's it.
It's just a blowout.
So you just think Seattle is going to get one wild card, and then the loser of the Yankees, Red Sox?
Yeah. Yep.
Here's what I don't like about the wild card. I love this 2 wild cards.
Yeah.
They got to get rid of the 1-game playoff. It has to be a 2 out of 3. I don't care if they go, it takes the season 2 extra days longer. It doesn't matter. I think, because what if both Boston and the Yankees win like 105 games? Yeah. You're gonna tell me the team that doesn't win the division has to have a 1-game playoff? And what if Seattle finishes, 85 and 77 or something like that? 7 or 8 games over 500, and in any one game, anything can happen. Somebody can pitch out of their mind, and you're going to tell me in one game you're not worthy of being in the playoffs. This is just stupid. Yeah. But anyways, that's just my take on that. But I think I agree with everything you just said right there. I think those are the teams that are going to go.
National League, I would say, in the East, I like Atlanta. Philadelphia, Atlanta. I mean, I think I'd say Atlanta. I think because they have. I mean, it's kind of like a Boston, New York thing too. Except it's obviously not as good as both those teams. But
Washington's going to be there though. They're going to figure it out. I mean, Atlanta's not running away with it. That's the only thing. They're not 25 games over 500, but. I think they got enough pieces to sustain it to the end.
I think they're.
But Washington, I think Scherzer's going to put them on their back. They're getting a couple guys back. Eaton just came back. I don't know. I don't really care for Washington personally.
I think between Atlanta and Philadelphia, I think Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't think Philly's going to fade.
If you throw Washington in there, it's another story.
You know how teams do that? They're past almost the 2/3 mark, and they're like 8 games over 500. They're hanging in there, and then they kind of run out of gas. I just don't think Philly has the depth to be in the race at the end. But
in the Central, I'd say Chicago over St. Louis.
Milwaukee.
Oh, jeez. Thanks for reminding me. Let's see what Chicago can compete with them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a dogfight for the wild card. So you think Atlanta? I think Atlanta. Yeah. I think Chicago. You think Chicago. We both think the Dodgers. And then you got the 2 wild cards, which, let's say Washington's in there. Philly, I guess you could throw them in the mix.
Or
Milwaukee. St. Louis, and Arizona probably.
Arizona or St.
So that'll be fun. Yeah. That'll be fun because I think the pennant races will be division races will be tight, and then the wild cards will be good. Yep. All right, cool. So that's what we think, and right now, it's too early to say who we're going to pick to win the World Series based on what we're seeing so far. But all right, let's just run through Wimbledon really quick. Kind of in the men's bracket, it looks like everything's holding the form of what we want. You got Nadal still in there, and Federer, and Djokovic. Those are the big 3 guns.
I think Del Potro gives Nadal a run for his money tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep, and Isner's the lone American that's left. That's the farthest he's made it to the quarters. But I would love to. I mean, if Federer wins another one at his age, and it's unreal. And Nadal's, I mean, he's only he's right behind him in age, but yeah, those guys are playing great. I'd love to see Federer win another one. So and then Serena, I mean, she could play left-handed, dude, and with a broken ankle, and she could still win. I mean, it's unreal what's going on that side of the bracket, on the women's side.
I don't think she looks 100% either.
No,
but
she's
still,
barely in tennis shape, and she's still just smoking everybody.
Yeah.
And plus, all the high seeds are just losing. Nobody.
Yeah, there's no one.
You know, her path is clear. So okay, so that's what Wimbledon. So just a quick thought on the upcoming British Open next week. The U.S. Open I thought was great. Again, the weather kind of ruined the tournament for a lot of the big guns the first 2 days.
I thought there was too much negative comments. I thought it had its down points, but overall I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think guys that I think everybody had to play the whole 2 days were miserable conditions, but Thursday there was parts of the day that were a little bit easier the first round. But I think the guys that it was just horrible conditions. The wind was blowing all over the place. The course was hard as a rock. And you're shooting 77, you're just not going to make the cut. That's
the U.S. Open.
Yep.
It's what you expect.
But we're at Carnoustie. I do think it's going to be awesome. I think, Tiger, obviously, Rory, Jason Day, Spieth is defending champion. Phil is going to be playing this week overseas as a tune-up. Yeah, Dustin Johnson. There's just so many great golfers right now. I think it's going to be an awesome tournament. Watch out, Tiger. He's playing better. I mean, he's still ahead of schedule. No one thought he'd be playing this well, let alone being a contention for a major. So that'll be fun. All right, what else we're going to talk about? Let's talk about the NBA free agency. So we're about a week removed from all the first day of free agency, and obviously we knew Durant was going to re-sign with Golden State. CP3 re-signed with Houston. Paul George re-signed with OKC. Yep. Those guys obviously took the big money. They're going to get paid a lot less to go somewhere else to form a super team. I think they just figured we'll just take the big money now. But you know what? They say the best for last. LeBron coming to LA. It turned this thing around. That was the big one. We got some work to do. Obviously, the Lakers are far from being a contender, but everything's going to rely on the Kawhi deal. What happens there? Whether they wait it out and he signs with them as a free agency, or San Antonio tries to get whatever they can. Maybe the Lakers can move a couple players to get them now. But they still need a couple more players. But getting LeBron, that's the first piece of the puzzle, and that's pretty awesome. Yeah. So what do you think about Golden State now? They signed Boogie. I mean,
you can tune in late June, and you'll see Golden State in the finals. And you don't even have to watch the season.
Right.
It's not even.
Even with Houston, they lose Ariza, but they're probably going to pick up Melo. I don't know why. He could fill the basket a little bit, but he plays zero defense, and he's not the same. But they're just not. I don't think they're in Golden State's class when Golden State's playing their best. So
come on. Golden State has their starting five can arguably. You got Durant, who's an all-star starter, Curry starter in the All-Star game, Boogie starter, and you got Clay, who is an all-star, but probably not a starter in the all-star game, but it's an all-star. And Draymond.
Yeah,
that's your starting five.
That's the sickest five that's ever stepped on the court. It's basically an all-star team. So
it is.
So again, they'll probably steamroll, but in time we'll see what happens. The West is just brutal. The East I do think Boston's a really good team with Kyrie and Hayward. They played really well in the playoffs without those two guys. I'd like to see what they can do with those two guys, but it's still not enough to overtake the West. Philly made a big run at LeBron, lost out on him. Simmons, Embiid, and Markelle were all untouchable, so there was nothing there for a trade that they can make to even get Kawhi. But they're good. Those two teams will play out each other pretty good. But that's it. That's it in the East. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Kawhi.
I hope it won't happen, but I would hope he would find a way. Philadelphia would find a way to get Kawhi, because they almost had LeBron, didn't get it, So I mean, if you're gonna target someone else, it would be Kawhi.
Yeah. I think the deciding factor of LeBron coming was it's LA. Yeah. It's Hollywood. It's Tinseltown. It's the marketability is through the roof here. So, he's on the back end of his career. He's still gonna have to play for a few years and hopefully win a couple titles. But he's gonna all that money he's gonna make being in LA and he's right there. So, okay. So, the NFL. There's not much going on with the NFL right now. Obviously, we're kind of we just got through the draft last month, a month and a half ago. It was great draft. A lot of things going on. Guys in training camp. We got fantasy football coming up. Preseason's right around the corner, so that'll be good. We'll talk more about the NFL, obviously, as we get further along here. We're gonna have a segment called "What the Hell is Going On?" segment. So there's a couple in here that we have just over the last week or so we've been talking about is Chris Davis. Jonah, tell me about Chris Davis.
Well, he's on pace for one of the worst seasons a player could have of all time.
What's he at right now?
Well, going into tonight, he is at 159 average, 9 home runs, and 28 RBIs, and 271 at-bats.
How much does he make?
$23 million per year.
What the hell?
Under a 7-year, $161 million deal.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know. And this is a guy, didn't we go to one of the Oriole games this year, and he didn't even hit any balls out in batting practice. What the hell, Chris? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and his OPS is just dreadful. He's just an automatic out.
159.
Yeah, it's just crazy. All right, and then who's our second one?
Well, we can talk about NFL now.
Yeah, okay.
Good. Pittsburgh Steelers with Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, what the hell? Get this guy signed. Get him to a guaranteed contract. I'm sure it doesn't have to be a long contract. NFL contracts are different anyways. They'll give him a lot of the money up front, and then you can kind of get out of the deals as the years go on. If you don't think he's going to be there in his 4th or 5th year from now, get that guy locked up for now. I mean, it's just stupid dragging this out every year.
Yeah.
But
makes the relationship worse.
Yeah, so they need that guy. He is everything. I mean, he's David Johnson, him,
and
Kamara.
Yeah,
those guys are just take care of those guys. Yeah. Anyways, okay. We're going to wrap things up here. Couple shout outs. One to Travis Pastrana. If anybody saw the 3 jumps.
Vegas, that was
this weekend on History
Channel.
Channel.
I don't know what's cooler, the jumps or the sound of the bike.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the bike, it just it made the intensity even more intense, more amped up. It was just, I don't know. I love that guy.
It was pretty cool seeing the fountains again, because I remember seeing the highlights of when I was a kid of the Evel Knievel crash.
Yeah.
But that's. But you kind of knew the way he was acting. This was going to be like easy peasy for him. I mean, he just was real loose. But
he did it for Evel.
Yeah.
That was the main.
So shout out. That was kind of cool.
Yep.
Interesting to see what's next. And then obviously, huge shout out to those divers who rescued the 12 soccer players and the coach. Those guys are total heroes. I can't even imagine what those kids went through. But a huge shout out to those guys. And that's gonna about wrap things up for us on our opening night.
That was pretty good.
Of the show. So thank you for tuning in to us, and we'll be back in a couple days. And
give us some feedback.
Yeah, love to hear from you. And we'll talk to you in a couple days. This is Everything Sports with TB and JB. We're out.